Now, as today is the last Monday in May, it is Celebration Day, which is all about remembering those special people in our lives who have died.
Yes, so Gloria Hunniford, who lost her daughter Caron 20 years ago to breast cancer, has been meeting people to see how they remember those they've loved and lost.
When you lose somebody you really love, the grieving process can be very, very tough, and it's different from person to person. But you know, eventually when you get to the point where you can celebrate that person's life, that too can be a really important part of the whole process. So that's why today is Celebration Day. And the idea is that friends and family all over the country can get together and talk about the loved ones whom they've lost.
My dear Dad's ashes are in the ground here at Hever Castle. Years ago we planted a small apple tree, and the comfort you get from that tree growing, you see the blossom in the spring and then the wonderful fruits in the autumn, and it just says that life continues.
I remember loved ones by going to old places that we've been together. It's nice to reminisce on the good things that you've done. It can also bring a smile to your face.
I lost a friend to cancer a few years ago. Most of the time I try to do something that we used to do together. We always used to have a bottle of Prosecco every time we would celebrate something. So every time something significant happens in my life, I open a bottle of Prosecco and I just remember her.
20 years ago, I very sadly lost my daughter Caron to cancer. It was the hardest moment of my life. When she passed, I went into what I've always called the black hole. When somebody dies whom you really love, it's very hard to think of celebration because you're so absorbed by grief, but you begin to cope with it. I think celebration is really important. Christmas was always big in our family. Caron adored Christmas. The year Caron died, my friend said, "How are you going to cope with Christmas?" And I went, "Gosh, I don't know." And he said, "Why don't you go bigger and better then for Caron and her boys?" So that year, I had 4 Christmas trees, not one. I had 6 foot tall, all singing, all dancing Santa Clauses. And it was a wonderful way to mark Christmas that year. Being able to celebrate and remember Caron has been of huge importance in my journey through grief. And only recently, here at Hever, we had Caron's 20th anniversary, and her son said what they loved about Caron, and they laughed all the way through it. And I thought this was the way to mark that 20th anniversary. Celebrating someone's life is a positive way to remember the happiness they brought you.
Yes, this is the bench.
Fantastic.
Take a seat.
Yeah, great. I'm meeting Gemma, who lost her father, Alec, 2 years ago.
My dad was the best dad, granddad, husband. He died on Father's Day less than 2 years ago. To lose the world's best dad on Father's Day, it was awful because it was so unexpected.
If you don't mind me asking, what did he die from?
He had a sudden heart attack. He was 56 years old.
To remember her dad, Gemma and her family raised money for a bench in his name, which they placed at the beach, where they very often spend time together.
It's so hot.
What's your thinking behind how you want to keep this bench alive and looking good?
Oh my gosh. Christmas, Father's Day, birthdays, we make sure that he's well decorated. He has his own Christmas tree. The children write him messages, which we laminate and stick all over the bench. On his birthday, we bring a cake down, we sing to him.
Do you?
Yeah. I get pictures from my friends sat on the bench saying, "We popped to see your dad today." And it's like he's never really gone. It also gives us that feeling that we're still able to do something for him.
Yes.
It makes me so happy that he's still so involved.
I'm delighted to celebrate your dad with you and your family. How important do you think it is that there is a day set aside now for celebrating, really?
It's so important. The best way you keep your loved one alive is through your memories. They live on in your hearts, and I think it's the best thing to do.
Oh, thank you so much to Gloria, and also to those that shared their stories with us.
And remember, details of organisations offering information on support with bereavement are available at bbc.co.uk/actionline.
We have had so many messages in around this topic as well. Charlie says, grief affects different people in different ways. Having lost both my parents well before their time to cancer, it's important to grieve properly and take time to do so.
Emma says, tomorrow is my 54th birthday. My amazing mum, Di, passed away 6 years ago, and birthdays are always extra hard. This weekend, I visited Highclere Castle, famous for my mum's favourite show, Downton Abbey. She sadly never got to visit herself, but I know for sure that she enjoyed visiting now. Oh, she's taken a picture. Look, that's lovely.
Lovely message.